Okay, and we are live in our 59th episode of umbraCoffee, and we are joined today with our amazing Lee Kelleher from England.
Hello.
Hi, Lee. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks. How are you
Good.
guys?
We are all good, and we've been trying before going live to figure it out how long ago you were attending your first umbraCoffee, and it was in March, right?
I think it was March. Yeah, we had like a weird snow thing happening last March. Oh, yeah, the March just gone, and I was wearing like a woolly hat or something. But yeah, I was thinking, was it January? No, it was March.
Yeah, so
I remember everyone was freezing.
Yeah. So this hasn't changed. Besides the fact that, Callum, you are not freezing, right? You are
No.
somewhere in some warmer place right now, right?
Yeah, I'm in Australia right now.
Oh, getting ready for the festival there, right?
Yeah.
Which is getting soon. Cool. It was an amazing week. Before also going live, we've been chatting on live chat about the week when we will be coming here and saying that nothing happened. We were all too lazy to do anything, and Umbraco community was not active, and we don't have anything to share. But it's not this week, right?
Yet again, I was really worried because it's early January-ish still, and you still think people are recovering from Christmas, but I compiled the list of stuff for today. God, it's huge.
It's a long list.
Yeah. Been busy.
And of course, we have Lee to share something more about other initiatives which were also popping out during the week. But maybe we can start from something what was on Tuesday, and we've seen the new release of Umbraco. It's 7.13.1, which has some really nice improvements and fixes for things which were fixed during this release. And yeah. I haven't been playing with the latest releases yet, but I'm going to update my current project to this one today, and I will definitely play around with some of those upgrades. And Callum, I watched the umbraCoffee from last week. You've been discussing the amazing improvements for the 7.13 version, and yeah, it all looks amazing.
And with his billions of contributions, yeah, it's insane.
Cool, and we can then start talking about what's ahead, because the month is ending. You've mentioned that January is almost over, and to the end of
very quick.
and we have 4 days to submit some content apps ideas or implementations for Umbraco competition, right? And guys, did you found some time to do any?
No. I had best intentions at the beginning of this. I was like, I'll mentor somebody, and then Christmas just happened. I was like, oh no. And then when I'm coming back, work got busy. It's like, oh no, I didn't follow through with this.
Then January happened. Then February happened. But yeah, still, people are working on amazing ideas. We've been watching Twitter and other feeds of activities, and yeah, that's a great competition. And we've saw also well-known people from the community like Paul Thiel and Nathan from Australia also doing an amazing proofs of concepts and implementations of content apps. And here we can see that there are also some contributions between community members to deliver high quality and amazing content apps, which will help editors who are using Umbraco and developers to interact with the data stored there. And that's awesome. And I really can't wait to see the results of the competition and all the incomes, because obviously not everything is visible on Twitter or on forums or everywhere else. So that's why I think that there will be some surprises for all of us there.
Yeah, I maybe wrongfully said last week that Nathan was the only one that had submitted something. That's obviously not what I meant, but he's the only one that's spoken about it publicly and only one that's shown off anything he's worked on publicly. I know I've seen this week, as you say, Marcin, Paul and Nick teasing that they've been working on something or multiple things, I think their tweet implies, which is really exciting. And I look forward to seeing all of the potential submissions, whether they get accepted or not. Like if you've, after the competition, maybe, even if yours doesn't get accepted, put it out there, talk about it, because it's going to be some really, really cool stuff coming out of this, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm great to hear that. Like Paul and Nick are collaborating, so it's not just individual developers trying to run with this. Where with the collaboration thing is working. I'm so happy.
Yeah. And I also think that some discussions and some even polls or questions were huge steps forward to even think about more content apps ideas, because if you can see that something is already there but you have another idea, or I was thinking about Cloudflare, for example, integration of Cloudflare elements on the page, something like that, and it's coming to a head, and it sooner or later it can be converted to some implementations, right? And that's amazing. And then as a head up to another topic, it can be listed on your amazing Umbraco collection, Lee, right?
Yeah. Nice segue.
Yeah. So it was once again highlighted on the social channels. I'm subscribed. I started that probably at the beginning of my Umbraco journey, because it's from there already here.
Yeah, it was like 4 years ago I'd started this, and there was the fad of amazing lists, awesome lists, amazing. Should be amazing. Yeah, awesome lists, and I'd started one just kind of as a bit of a punt, and yeah, people started contributing to it, but it just kind of sat there for quite a while, and some people would add things and whatnot, but it's always been one of those things that I never felt 100% comfortable with in owning. I always wanted it to kind of have more people involved, and this wasn't my thing. I didn't want it to be something that it had to belong to Lee. So I was like, no, I want to kind of do something bigger, which kind of leads on to why it's been re-talked about or retweeted this week, which is
Umbraco community.
The Umbraco community GitHub. So there's a couple of things that are going on with this at the moment. It's kind of too early to say with what's happening, but one of the things I wanted to do with the Awesome list was move it to somewhere that was kind of more neutral, for the community, and didn't feel like I was going to own it, but the community would own it. So that was one of the kind of the moves that I wanted to do with that. Yeah, just I think in time, what I would like to do is to put like a small team together, not for the Umbraco community but for the Awesome list, to kind of have like the curators of awesomeness or something. I don't know, call it something like that.
I have a question about this. Was it linked somewhere in the Umbraco documentation or or it was just living on the GitHub?
No, it was just living on GitHub, and there's a list. There's an awesome list of awesome lists, so it's listed on there. But yeah, it was never kind of publicized. I never felt comfortable with making like a big thing of this, because it was still on my own GitHub. But I think now is to make it a bit better. And there is some confusion about this, because some people are kind of thinking, is this just another package listing? How is this different from our Umbraco? But I guess the idea here is that this is a curated list, and to show the best of, I don't want to say the best of breed, because that's someone else's tagline, but to show the best of Umbraco packages that we are using. That's
a really good point though, Lee. You say about collaboration and this kind of best packages. There was a bit of discussion on Twitter around what quantifies or qualifies as something being best, because I know there's a lot of focus now around let's focus on building one good solution rather than 2 or 3 different versions. Let's all collaborate, but how does something make it onto the Awesome list? What qualifies it?
Exactly. I mean, so what I've seen, being the only person who has admin rights to it, or to write access. Yeah, well, this is the power I didn't want. It was down to my discretion of like so someone would submit a pull request which would say, oh, I made this thing, it's really awesome. It's like, well, yeah, you think it's awesome, but I don't know if everyone else thinks it's awesome. There were some things that were quite obvious that I would add in. I kind of also made a conscious decision not to add my own things in. I would want somebody else to submit those. But anyway, so people would submit these things, and if I didn't know, I'd need someone to talk to sort of say, I don't really know what this is. And there was a couple of cases. There was one, it's not to name and shame, but there was one called Rank One. It was from SEO solution. I'd never heard of it. Someone submitted it, and then I said, I've never heard of this. And maybe put a tweet out or something, and a couple of other people said, oh yeah, we use this, it's great. So okay, so that's like 2 or 3 people who think it's great. So let's add it in and see what happens. Yeah, and then there was other things that kind of dropped off the list. I remember distinctively the Sir Trevor editor was awesome at the time, but then I don't, speaking at sort of at meetups, Code Garden, various places, at Twitter, it stopped kind of getting used because of the things like archetype and nested content and whatever else. So we kind of removed Sertraver from the awesome list because it wasn't something that I felt as a community we'd be promoting, like, use this over something else. I don't know, but still my discretion and opinion, so I don't really know.
Yeah, you mentioned nested content and archetype as well, and I know back in the day there was always the, do I use this versus this, and there was some level of preference on that as well. So I guess the list can also encapsulate that. If you there's two options, two different ways of doing this, then maybe you could maybe we can display some alternative options. I know you've started to group it now into categories, so kind of property editors versus
so I mean, but that was things. I think that was something like Thomas Morris from Bristol started to do as well. He was like, oh, we can kind of do this a little bit better, and the categories started to come about. And
but if the discussion is here, I think that it's also a pointer for the whole community and also our Umbraco to maybe think about some kind of categorization rankings or anything else like that for the packages to see that they are more popular or less popular, more used or less used. And I remember those discussions on Code Gardens, that how package creators can know that package is used, for example, besides downloads counter, right? And obviously it can drive us to more and more discussions how those ideas and those issues and problems can transfer to our Umbraco to make the whole listing more easier to content manage and to see what's really trending, right? That's something. But referring to our Umbraco, maybe, because we can also invite people who are watching us right now to this discussion, because it's all started there, right? Warren started the thread about this community organization, and as one of the responses, Lee, you've mentioned that this team idea, right? The package projects team, community projects team. Can you tell us more about it?
Yeah, so it's still early days. Nothing is set in stone. But the idea has come from the article I wrote for 24 days about the content apps gold rush, which was kind of I kind of use content apps to kind of make a larger point about collaboration and whatnot, and littered throughout the article, if you've all read it, to the people at home, is little tidbits that say, did you know that there are 7 link picker editors for Umbraco? Do you know there are however many Google Maps ones? That's sort of those sort of things of maybe that there's a lot of individual developers running off to do these things, but we all could be kind of working together, or maybe those developers weren't aware that there was already an existing thing. So the projects team is now sort of slowly coming together. My idea is to kind of follow what the documentation team and what the PR team have been doing, and kind of have a small group of people meet together, think of what the sort of the issues are with the package ecosystem, and how can we go about fixing those. So it's not just about we've got a package idea, let's just become developers and just start rushing to do it. Just kind of think more logically about how we can make the ecosystem a bit better.
Yeah, but it's also going to the topic of our Umbraco packages, which was mentioned multiple times, and even Paul Seal right now mentioned that maybe our Umbraco health checks can be moved to the community organization. That's definitely something what we were naming as our Umbraco stuff, which was obviously created to share with Umbraco community, and it wasn't relating to any company or agency or anything like that. Can be definitely there and living in this repo and organization, which is amazing.
I know Warren has said up on that thread actually that he started by donating his which package was it?
You mean the one which was ported, or?
Yeah, he basically donated one of his packages over to the community GitHub team, because he felt, actually, this is not just my work anymore. This is multiple.
It was Google Analytics, probably, right? Analytics.
That was it. And I've seen as well. Is it John Churchley's donated his package over as well this week?
In opening hours.
Yeah, opening hours. That was it.
Yeah. That's the great moves, and people who are just. I think that the creating and helping those packages being active and supported. That's possibly the one of the goals behind it, right? To help each other to
It
support
is.
and maintain packages which are used and really required to be maintained.
It is. It is. I lost connection for a minute then, so I missed some of the conversation. It's one of those other things that that kind of triggered also myself and Matt Brailsford to work together was kind of a continuity and also an assurance that someone's still going to be around to look at this thing if I suddenly get hit by a bus or something like that. Just to kind of here's the keys to the car. Anyone can kind of drive it ish if you're insured. Yeah,
that's and also you've mentioned Warren, who is involved in a lot of package discussions lately, and Warren created also an amazing section in the documentation for the package creators who wants to port their packages to V8. And I was thinking that you Callum mentioning the package which Warren was converting first, but I can't remember the name of it.
The package that Warren did first, I think, was the file system provider.
Oh yeah, that's correct. So the path is written down here, and everyone who wants to convert the existing package to V8, either it's a popular awesome already or aiming to be awesome, it's all here, and that's an amazing piece of documentation for all the package creators. And Warren is obviously a part of the community organization already, and that's great connection to the Umbraco HQ and insights from there, because obviously the help from Umbraco will be needed at some point, more or less.
Yeah, I think it's an important point as well that someone from HQ is represented in this to show that there's a vested interest. I mean, how this pans out, I'm not, we're still to find out. But if this initiative just came from the community, it might just look, if it was just me or if it was just me and Matt, then it just might look like we're just trying to take control of something where we're trying to do the opposite. We're trying to give control to the wider community.
And on the flip side of that, Lee, I know Warren's made it quite clear that he's in this not because he's there representing HQ, but he's actually there representing himself as a Umbraco community old-timer.
He's got a long history of Umbraco packages. I mean, I remember using his creative website starter kits when I started. So yeah.
So he's not just there to represent HQ, but also represent himself and the history that he represents and the experience that he has. So it's a really, really good contribution and an asset to actually this community project, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. So if we are speaking about HQ and activity from there, we had a release of new Umbraco profile, profile this week, and it's a profile of Fedosia, who was speaking at UK Festival, right, Callum?
Yes, she
about content editing. And I've just checked this new profile before going live here, and I noticed a unicorn on the desk, and I wanted to share what I received from my daughter last week. That's yet another amazing unicorn. So I have a guard who was protecting me from coffee being spoiled. Unfortunately, not enough. But yeah, it's a great profile. Great to see yet another not so maybe visible for other people person from the community itself, and that's a great story of someone who is not directly related with what we are doing here, right?
Yeah. I didn't actually realize that Fedosia had kept the schnitzel that she won.
No, I wonder what happened to this.
I may have been eaten on the night. So for those that don't know, in bingo, Fedosia won a Umbraco schnitzel with a U carved out of it and kept it for something like 3 or 4 weeks in a glass jar, and it grew legs and started to walk. I thought it might be eaten on the night, but that is really disgusting.
I saw this type of experiments with fries from some discounts and shops, and they were living untouched and not changed for years. So it's good. It was a good schnitzel for sure. That's cool. And some other activities from the community. In States, there's something going on. Was going on, right? There was a Gold Partner Summit there, right? And besides Summit, there was also an Umbraco training. So it was a US Gold Partner Summit, and the training, which was the first one, first official one for a load balancing course, right?
Yeah. This is the first time it's been run. I think Jevon's the one that wrote it actually.
Yeah.
Jevon Leopold from Crumpled Dog, and it's kind of based upon his Bear the Load course that he ran at Code Garden a few years ago, and then as part of X as well. I think, yeah, as you're showing here, Marcin, Jevon's doing the course in London in February, sorry, for those that are based in London. But Andrew did it ran it for the first time in the US.
Yeah, and
a few days ago.
As an insight from the Umbraco trainer's perspective, it's an amazing course, and as you've said, it's an evolution of load balancing workshops, and it's definitely something really important for all developers who want to scale and load balance solutions. And if you want to submit yourself to the course, it's February 7th, right? 7th, and it's more coming from the Umbraco training's perspective, and that's good to see, right? So that was about some announcements, and we had some package releases. And Callum, you've collected a really long list of releases this week, right?
I was saying before we went live, really worried that there was going to be nothing, and and I looked through the releases on Hour and GitHub and Twitter and found about 7 or 8 things. People have been very busy. A load of new stuff, a load of updates. Richard Soapman's been busy as usual. There's a lot of stuff. So
we can start from the first one. It was a YouTube video picker created by Ian and released on our Umbraco. And the second one was the beta version of Umbraco Luke, which is something what we've mentioned a couple of weeks ago as an alpha state. Right now it's in beta, and it's open for all the feedbacks and tests from the community. The third one is Umbraco Forms Bootstrap theme, which is something new. And I remember that some of our devs were porting some stuff from Umbraco Forms to Bootstrap 4, and it's good to see that it's just a theme right now, because all of those elements are possible to be mapped, and that's great to have it. And it's an amazing work done by Marcel Digital. And Shannon was releasing the new Umbraco identity package. And also Warren mentioned that Shannon is doing a lot of other work around Articulate, and it's going to be a next package which will be ported to V8, what means that creation of blocks will be a lot easier for V8 than it was for V7, and ready there possibly for the very beginning of releasing a V8. And you've mentioned Richard Soderman, who was releasing new bug fixes for his packages, and it was for CO Checker and Bulk Manager, right? Yep, CO Checker and Bulk Manager, or CMS import. It's not so clear here. But new releases and forms rich text field from Matthew, and business hours, which we've mentioned at some time. The new release and upgraded version 1.2 of this package, which was used to store the opening hours and business hours as a single property here. A long list, a lot of releases. So Umbraco community was not lazy this week, definitely. And it won't be lazy ahead of time, right? Because a lot of things and meetups are coming, right? And are you guys planning to visit one of those?
I think meetup season's officially starting again. I mean, I don't like to miss meetups, as many people. So I'll be going to some of them.
Yeah, after the Australian adventure. As a shortcut for everyone who is watching, we of course will be listing those meetups and links to them in the video description. But the Edinburgh meetup is coming on January 23rd. The Stuttgart, and not Zurich meetup, is coming on January 24th. London January social on the same day, and Norway meetup on the same day. Damn. 3 meetups at the same time, and the day after it's Umbraco 8 introduction, plugins, and speaker to be announced on Umbraco Nepal meetup. And is it the first one in Nepal? It is, right?
Maybe. I think they may have done one before. There was I know they were talking about starting it. Maybe I'm
we
thinking about
we were talking about the group forming there, but I can't remember if it was the meetup already there or not. But if not, that's the first one, and that's good to see that.
It's good to see 6 people are going. Marcin, we were just joking before we went live that when you're skiing, your umbraCoffee can be the one in the highest altitude, but maybe someone will do one for you.
There are some solid competitors then. Okay, so and as a final point on our long list of things to mention is that some tweets from community Chris Houston was asking for input from the community around the official Umbraco language. And Callum, you've been listing it because it was an issue in some of the projects when I was working in because it wasn't obvious which language is selected as a default, and editors were creating new languages, and it was always causing some kind of discussions. And I remember when I was trying to port some translations to Polish, it also wasn't obvious which language should I pick as an original file of choice. And that's a discussion in which a lot of people become active. And
I know that I think Neil's weighed in here and said we don't really have an answer, but let's come up with one. Lee, you may remember from the hackathon we did in Bristol where we had the conversation about the recycle bin and the etymology of recycle bin versus trash can.
Recycle, yeah.
And it seems it's used interchangeably in the source code of Umbraco, along with many other places around the web. As a package dev, I'd be really interested to know but you, Lee, but maybe others as well, what they use. Do they use American English, or they just use what they're comfortable with?
Yeah, I mean, I know a few years ago I decided just to go with American English, especially working with like international clients. It was just easier to kind of do that. So yeah, I sometimes do put Zs in, localization rather than Ss. Yeah, but be conscious that who I'm talking to at the time. Yeah.
Or copy and paste one file to another and just change the name of it, right?
I don't know.
No one is doing something like that, right?
Yeah.
No. I didn't. Okay, and as an end of this list and tweets, we've seen this week Owen created a collage or a graphic with all the Umbraco teas pictures, and that's a great idea of also of summarizing the Umbraco Teas Day, and maybe for another one, people will become more active and more visible to be listed on this type of collaborations.
This photo taught me a lot about being visible, which is that I've been using the hashtag wrong. Because I've been using the singular.
I end up using both.
I followed your approach, Lee, and I also used both.
Because I have no idea. Yeah.
Smart. I'll be doing that from now on.
Yeah. Well, you put it into context. You say like, "Oh, I'm wearing my Umbraco tee without the S on Umbraco Teas Day," and you're like, okay. Yeah. And I have no idea what the official one is, though.
we are happy that Twitter extended the number of chars being used in the tweets, so that right now we can use both without losing context and place for some description. Yeah, and that's possibly all what we've prepared for this week umbraCoffee. Did we miss anything, guys? Do you think anything is worth of mentioning or adding to this list of things?
I don't think so.
If we missed anything, let us know in the video comments, and also you can all contribute to the content of it. And if something is going on but it's not visible anywhere, and you want to reveal something like that using this channel and possibility, feel free to reach us. Right, we are always open to those types of ideas.
And also, I know kind of a long time ago we used to tell people, if you want to be a guest, we'll put a link to a survey or something. I think the survey's gone, but just let us know, because we'd love to have you as a guest. Or if there's anyone you want to see on as a guest or a topic, like, let us know, because we really, really would love to hear from you.
Yeah, exactly. Because preparing it each week is going to be is still hard to do, right? Because community is always active, but it's always hard to wait until Friday to prepare everything. So that's something what we will be looking for improve, and you can improve it with us. That's something what we are going to do this year, right, Callum?
Of course.
Cool. And that's all. So we can go back to thinking about content apps ideas, right? for 4 days. 4 days.
3 days until Sunday, I think, or Monday, Sunday or Monday.
Yeah.
Get in there quick.
Still a lot of time, right, to build a prototype of something. So yeah, if you are not done anything, feel free to contribute, and I'm looking forward to mention what type of content apps will be submitted maybe next week. Cool. So Lee, thank you very much for joining us and sharing this journey
thank you
of long list of items today. and Callum, enjoy the weather in Australia.
Oh, I will. I'm lucky my awkward sunburn has gone down. I had stupid sunglasses marks 2 days ago.
And then you've mentioned that it was the hottest night during this year.
It's hot. It's hot. It's 40 degrees in some places.
Yeah, it's a great comparison with Poland, where we have -15 now. Yeah, amazing. Cool. Thank you guys once again, and thank you all of you watching and commenting here this week, and see you next Friday.
Cool.